before she became known as the goddess of love, before poets sang of beauty, desire, and longing, before her name became associated with romance, sensuality, and attraction, Aphrodite emerged from one of the most startling births in all of Greek mythology. Not from tenderness, not from romance, not from union, but from rupture, from separation, from violence. And this matters, because modern imagination often reduces Aphrodite to something decorative: beauty, sexuality, seduction, the feminine ideal. But the myth suggests something far deeper. In the beginning, the primordial sky god Uranus ruled through domination. He lay endlessly upon Gaia, the earth, suppressing the life waiting to emerge from within her. Potential existed, but could not fully be born, and so imbalance began building into creation itself. Eventually, Gaia could bear no more. She turned to her son, Cronus, and gave him a sickle forged for rebellion. When Uranus descended once more, Cronus struck. The separation was absolute. Above and below were split apart. Sky and earth, father and mother, masculine and feminine. What had once been fused became divided. Then something extraordinary happened. The severed flesh fell into the primordial sea. The waters churned, foam gathered around the fallen seed of creation. The Greeks called this foam Aphros. And from that living sea foam, Aphrodite arose, radiant, whole, unimaginably beautiful, not as an infant, but fully formed, as though beauty itself had suddenly taken shape within existence. And here the myth asks us to look deeper, because Aphrodite is not born from harmony, she is born from rupture. This is the paradox. How does beauty emerge from violence? How does love emerge from separation? Why would the goddess of attraction, union, and longing be born from fragmentation itself? Perhaps Aphrodite was never meant to represent beauty as surface appearance alone. Perhaps she represents something deeper, something that emerges precisely when what has been divided begins moving toward relationship once more. Consider foam. Foam does not exist on its own. It emerges only under specific conditions, not from air alone, not from water alone, but when air enters water, through movement, through turbulence, through collision. Foam is born at the threshold between worlds, between above and below, between sky and sea, between one state and another. This is extraordinary, because Aphrodite is not born directly from sky, nor directly from sea. She emerges from the meeting point, from relationship itself. Perhaps beauty does not emerge from isolated forces, not from transcendence alone, not from embodiment alone, not from stillness alone, but from relationship, from coherence, from the living harmony between seemingly separate worlds. There is something even more revealing about foam. Foam can be touched, it can even be held, gently, in open hands, but it cannot be grasped. The moment we close the hand, it collapses, it disappears. And even if held carefully, it does not remain. It dissolves back into the waters from which it came. This feels profoundly symbolic because perhaps the myth is showing us something essential about beauty, love, and desire. They can be experienced, witnessed, felt, even held gently for a moment, but they cannot be possessed. They cannot be controlled, they cannot be frozen in time. The tighter we grasp, the faster they disappear. Perhaps this is why Aphrodite has remained so misunderstood. Many seek to capture beauty, possess love, secure desire, hold attraction permanently. But Aphrodite may not belong to the realm of possession at all. She belongs to the realm of presence. She can only be encountered fully in the living moment, not grasped, not owned, only witnessed, only met, like foam upon the sea, radiant, brief, alive, always moving. And perhaps this is where the myth becomes deeply personal. Aphrodite's birth may not describe only a cosmic event. It may describe something unfolding within us right now. Within each of us, these same forces remain active. There is the principle of structure, mind, order, direction, the part of us that thinks, plans, and seeks to shape reality through intention. This is the Zeus principle. And there is the principle of depth, body, being, the unseen layers beneath thought, instinct, memory, feeling, embodiment. This is the Hades principle. Neither is wrong, neither is superior. Both are necessary. Without structure, life loses direction. Without depth, life loses grounding. The imbalance begins when one dominates the other. When mind becomes overdeveloped and disconnected from depth, love distorts, connection becomes something to control, affection becomes strategy, desire becomes manipulation, love becomes entangled with performance, seduction, image, influence. The self begins trying to secure love through force. This is imbalance through Zeus. But imbalance can emerge through the opposite pole as well. When depth becomes disconnected from structure, love also distorts. Connection becomes attachment. Longing becomes fixation. Devotion becomes possession. The self clings to what it fears losing. This is imbalance through Hades. And now something profound becomes visible. Both distortions arise from the same misunderstanding, the attempt to possess what was never meant to be possessed, to control love or to keep love, to grasp what can only live in relationship. Perhaps love behaves exactly like foam. It can be touched, it can be held gently, but it cannot be grasped. Close the hand and it disappears. Try to keep it and it dissolves. Perhaps beauty behaves the same way. The tighter we attempt to control connection, the more it dies. The tighter we cling to beauty, the more it fades. Perhaps Aphrodite represents something far deeper than attraction. She is the living coherence that emerges when control softens and attachment releases, when mind no longer dominates depth, when depth no longer traps mind, when above and below become coherent. It is there, between domination and attachment, between control and grasping that Aphrodite appears, not manufactured, not possessed, but emerging naturally, like sea foam illuminated by light, brief, radiant, alive, impossible to own. Perhaps this is why Aphrodite's myth feels especially relevant now. Never before has humanity been more capable of shaping form. We alter images instantly, enhance appearance digitally, modify bodies, construct identities online, curate perception through filters. We have become extraordinarily skilled at managing appearances. And yet, many feel increasingly disconnected from the very qualities Aphrodite may represent: presence, embodiment, tenderness, intimacy, living relationship. This is one of the great paradoxes of modern civilization. We are surrounded by images of beauty, while often feeling deeply disconnected from beauty itself. Because form and essence are not the same. Form can be shaped, manipulated, enhanced, perfected, but essence cannot be manufactured. Essence has no fixed form. Like foam upon the sea, it becomes visible for a moment, radiant, alive, unmistakably real, yet impossible to grasp. The moment we try to capture it as an object, something vital disappears. Perhaps Aphrodite never belonged to form. She belongs to essence, to the living radiance moving through form when relationship becomes coherent. And perhaps this is the deeper invitation hidden within Aphrodite's birth, not simply to admire beauty, not simply to seek love, but to recognize what within us still attempts to grasp, what can only be met in relationship. Perhaps there is a reason Aphrodite was never meant to belong fully to temples or fixed forms, because essence cannot be contained by structure, it cannot be possessed, it cannot be made permanent. It can only be encountered, witnessed, felt, lived, like foam upon the sea, visible for a moment, radiant and alive, before dissolving once more into the waters from which it came. So ask yourself, where do you seek to control love? Where do you cling to what is already trying to change? Where have you confused form with essence? And what might become possible if you loosened your grip just enough for beauty to emerge on its own? If this path resonated with you, there are more journeys waiting within the labyrinth. More myths, more symbols, more forgotten realms waiting to be remembered. Continue the journey,